Hello, Beetle people. Craig here. Wanted to go through an update, answer some questions, and show ultimately the new stuff that I required this video. First thing is, I don't want to dwell on this album again as much. I know a lot of people are kind of sick of hearing about it, but I wanted to go over some questions, or one big question about the album I have been getting on either comments or personally. So this is their first album. I bought actually an update. This is another one that I got really cheap for like $4. But I wanted to show the differences between a first pressing slick and a later pressing slick. So here is, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can definitely see. See how this one is a lighter and that one's darker? This is very light. This is very dark. So that's how you tell the first pressings of, well, this is still a first pressing. It's just a later 64 pressing. This is the first issued. So and you can see the difference between Ringo's face and the colors. These are darker hues. So really, but the biggest one is, if you can take a look at it, yeah, that's a good one. You can take a look and see the difference in the colors. So, but this is the stereo version, just an update. So, but that is the first pressing of that, the first slick with that, and the second slick. So, to go on, my wife wanted me to show her well, a little bit of her collection, some of her bigger ones. She's a huge James Taylor fan, and loves collecting those, just like how I love collecting the Beatles. So she just wants me to share some of hers. The first thing she wanted me to share was the single that she's gotten, James Taylor's first single, Carolina in My Mind. It's not the rare version. Let me go ahead. It's not the rare version, because the first version of this single, it has Carolina on My Mind. So if you can find that one is very, very highly collectible. Back of it, Something's Wrong. Very cool single. Next one, she wanted me to show one of her prized possessions, is James Taylor's first album. But the neat thing about this is she has got it signed. We both have gone to see James Taylor a handful of times. So this was really cool when he signed this. And it's definitely a first pressing of the album. It has this gatefold a little bit with all the lyrics. You can definitely find this online if you'd like to inspect it. But it is a first pressing of the album with the record, the Apple. So very, very quite cool. So earlier in my videos, my second video, I had a crappy camera, but I did make some about the UK singles that I have and the UK albums. But one I forgot to include with one of the albums that I had, let me just go over it really quick, was this one. Of course, this is the first pressing of I keep doing that. Please Please Me. It's their first album, and as you can tell, it's their first record, just because the first pressings of this have the P and photo line up with the S in songs. Second pressings have the P and photo line up with the G. So this has moved way over here. So that is a first pressing of Meet the Beatles. Meet the Beatles. I'm stuck on Meet the Beatles. I apologize. This is Please Please Me. So this is a very, very good conditioning one. And of course, here is the record label. It has the Dick James credit on both sides of Please Please Me. Let me show you the other side. As you can see. But the thing I didn't show in my last video, or my second video, was this. This is an insert, a flyer that they would include when you bought the record. It's very, very thin paper. I'm surprised it survived. What would happen is they have all these artists list here, and then they have their album, and then they would have their number, so you can take a look and see which one you would want to get. So this one is right before the Beatles were actually listed on this. So, and which makes perfect sense that it would come to with first pressings of Please Please Me, because they were trying to get rid of these. And then the second, like, then later that year they probably updated it, because I have seen some with the Beatles listed on here, and everything is moved down a little bit. So it's really quite cool. You can definitely take a look if you wanted to pause the video and look and see some of the artists. On the back, it has more of the artists, and one was kind of cool is the Saturday Club. I know the Beatles talk about that, and we're on that. And then the EMI. You can kind of take a look and pause it and read it if you'd like. But really quite cool. It's a very flimsy paper. It was inserted in my record, or in my cover. So, all right. Last couple of records I wanted to show from my second video. I had problems with my camera reading things, so I wanted to show this record again. This is My Bonnie. It's on Polydor. This is a first pressing of it. But the second issue. So it's the first pressing. The first pressings have this, but it has the rock under the Bonnie. And you can see it says Tony Sheridan and the Beat Brothers. So this is the first English introduction. When it had the rock, it was the German pressing, and they were both the German intro. These are both German records. So it was issued with a picture sleeve, but unfortunately those are very quite rare and valuable. So the other side, the Saints. I just really want to see how it says rock. The rock would be on the other side as well. So I just wanted a record that said Tony Sheridan and the Beat Brothers. I thought that was really quite cool. So next, one of the ones that I showed that you really couldn't see was Love Me Do. Now with this pressing, this is a first early pressing of Love Me Do. It has the JR stamping on it, which is journalistic review. These stampers, when the record was first released, it came in the white. I don't know, a lot of people maybe have seen it, is white with the letter A, and it has McCartney's misspelling of his name, McCartney. So this came from those stampers. So this is a very, very early pressing, and the way you can do it, I would encourage you again to go and get Bruce Spizers' book. It's called Beatles on Parlophone. But if you look at the L above where the L is above in Lennon, so this one's under the LE. Sometimes they're over the N. Sometimes it's further. Sometimes there's a parenthesis missing. But this is the first rendition because the L is over the lay in Lennon. And then how the Amor and Beechwood, how that lines up with this, the master number. So on the second side, it has a very, very early tax code. I don't know if you can see it. I have a little bit of damage on it. It's a WOZT tax code, all four letters. This is a very, very early pressing of the tax code listed. So, and then take note, there's made in Britain, in Great Britain. That came up for the first pressings of the single. And there's the sleeve. But ultimately, my last record and my latest find is going to be their second record that went their first #1, which is Please Please Me on the red label. Now, what makes this is actually a first pressing of the red label variant. And the way you can tell that is by the made in Great Britain on the side here. There's no made in Great Britain. those records that have the no made in Great Britain underneath the pound sign were pressed first. So mine actually has an EMI on here, and then on the back it has a radio play. I've asked Bruce Spizers about these. He said that he has no doubt that no reason to doubt that they're authentic, but he has never seen them before, so it's kind of interesting. So very cool single. It's very, very rare. I would highly definitely try to pick it up. My stamper's on here. Of course, it has the PT tax code in the center, if you can see that. But my stampers on mine are L-L. And of course, on this one, they were the JR, which is the journalistic review. So very, very quite cool. I would encourage you to try to picking that up. It's very cool to have all those together. So this will be my last video of the season. I just want to wish everybody happy holidays, and please comment and subscribe. Take care. Peace.